And we're back to IGN Live at E3, streaming to you from e3.ign.com, YouTube, Xbox Live, Roku, and banana stands across the nation. There's been a schedule change, so our next game is all about a world thrown into chaos and the adorable dog who can save us all. Oh, and it's also part of a super mega franchise, Call of Duty Ghosts is up now. I'm joined by Mark Rubin, executive producer at Infinity Ward, to talk about the game and take us through a new level shown earlier this week, No Man's Land.
Right, okay. So this is actually an early level in the game. You have not yet met up with Ghosts, with the Ghost team. Basically what we have is you and your brother are part of the military, and you've kind of grown up in this new world. And in a world that's been changed by a mass event 10 years prior to this level. You know, you're sort of experiencing that sort of resistance style fight. And of course, with a dog.
Yeah, so obviously what you see here is pretty incredible. This is the first opportunity to really get a glimpse at you know, the dog, which his name we learned earlier this week is Riley.
Riley.
Which is based off of Simon
Ghost Riley.
So again, for backstory here, like this is like truly disconnected from the events in Modern Warfare 3. You guys are starting fresh, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
It's a completely new story. And we set out to do that because we wanted to create a new world that offered a sort of a new experience and a new emotional effect on the players and on the characters in the game. So, you know, like I said, you as a player and your brother grew up in this new changed world, and we couldn't really do that with the Modern Warfare universe. So we created this new universe.
Yeah. So obviously you're not talking about this massive event very extensively at this point.
We've been teasing, yeah.
But there are little like Easter eggs here. I mean, obviously San Diego's not looking so hot.
Not so much.
But I also noticed that nobody's wearing a gas mask, so there's that.
There's that.
But the enemies we saw earlier are, so that has a little bit of a mystery circumstance there. You think, what could it be?
I don't know.
Yeah, but again, the new engine is on display here. I mean,
Yes.
You guys obviously have done some incredible work. Talk to us a little bit more about that.
Sure. So what you're seeing here is basically our one where we've been planning as our next gen hardware, it's basically we're really set out with this being a next gen transition. We felt like this was the great opportunity to really go in and tear apart what we've done in the past. Take that skeleton of how we make games and make sure we hit those pillars that Call of Duty is known for, and then make a new engine based on those pillars. So. We still have all the 60 frames a second, the low latency controls, all that stuff sort of, remains. But we added a lot of cool tech as far as like lighting, as far as geometry and texture, but as well as other things that maybe we haven't really mentioned yet that doesn't show up in a video in audio. So we really made a whole new audio engine that creates like natural reverb, where the level itself will actually create the model with which you use, which the audio will bounce around, and including the material. So, sound will bounce off differently from a wood wall than it would a stone wall or a metal wall. So all that kind of stuff is really in there. And a lot of the new tech was driven by a lot of the Hollywood guys that we've been hiring. So over time, we've been hiring a lot of these Hollywood CG artists, and they've come in with their pre-rendered sort of mentality, but sitting with them enough, we've crafted a new sort of approach to the way we're making games.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. So that we don't miss this opportunity here. This is Riley in action. So the main character is controlling Riley, right? Like this is this is all within the controls of the dual.
We were blown away, literally at the studio. We were blown away when they brought all this in. So the Navy SEAL came by, this retired Navy SEAL with his dog, and they showed us this tech, and we basically set it up in the office. We were running him around the office. He's got basically, the vest has this camera on the back, and that's what you're seeing through here is this little flip-up camera. And the dog's wearing an earpiece, and the SEAL can give him commands, go left, go right, attack, etc. And then if they need to be really stealthy, like what they're kind of doing here, the SEAL has these buttons he can use because the dog's wearing these like vibration devices on his neck. And so you can kind of tell the dog to do things just through the vibration on the neck. And so what you're seeing is kind of how you could use it. It's a little, we're using it in a game situation, obviously, but it's actually real tech.
So obviously it's a really lethal, kind of stealth tool, but at the same time, there are other, functions featured here where, like, Riley can lure enemies out by barking,
And you're doing that. You're telling him to bark, and he'll bark and bring out, and you don't have to. You could have gone after that guy, so you could play him differently, use him differently, but...
How are you guys looking to integrate, dogs into multiplayer, can you say?
I can't. I know. I know that's the biggest question today, honestly, and I know I'm going to get it. We got 3 days. We just started E3, and I'm looking forward to a whole bunch of questions on that. And I really want to talk about it, but unfortunately I can't.
Yeah. So obviously our players are progressing. Do you have the name of the protagonist in this sense? Or are you not revealing that yet?
Not really revealing that. We've been teasing it, and we talk about Federation Day, and we talk about Venezuela, but we're not really going too deep into that story just yet.
So, one of the things you and I discussed last time I was at the studio was like how the enemies are kind of a new, like, unseen faction, rather, and specifically in the universe of Call of Duty. Like, you guys are moving beyond the Russian threat.
It's not the Russians. Yes.
Which I'm sure your Russian fans are very fond of.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. I've had Russian fans. Can you make a game where we're not the enemies? So, no, this time it's not the Russians. Yeah. It is sort of a fictional federation, but it is a South American-based fictional federation. I don't want to go too much into it from there. Yeah. But,
so again, the engine is on display here as we move into the deep. That's the name of this level, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously, very lush, very vibrant, and then you can also see like the sub-D rendering. You've already discussed a little bit about how like it really just pops objects out like dynamically, which is really, really interesting.
Yeah, it's amazing what we're able to do now, and it's cool because next gen obviously allows you to increase your poly counts, basically, as a dev would say. But what we've done is actually, instead of just do that, we've created new tools in the engine that in real time are actually adding even more geometry than we normally would ever have and seen. And so it's basically trying to max out how much geometry and fill it can do at any given time. So you're really always trying to push the graphics as far as they can go.
Yeah, and what's most interesting about this level is that, obviously underwater levels are no stranger to the Call of Duty franchise, but what you guys are doing here is really kind of interesting, where you're like recreating like a land combat scenario underwater with, what is this weapon called?
It's called an APS. Yeah. It's a Russian-made
Which is
rifle.
a real thing.
It's a real thing. Yeah. YouTube it. Google it.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I found most interesting about this is like, again, like this idea that you're not just swimming through and there's like action set pieces. You're actually engaging with multiple combatants at the same time.
And there's a lot that you're not seeing in this video. There's actually a lot where you have bigger engagements with cover that's up and down and that can move up and down. And so you're sort of really playing in a way that we've never shown before. So really excited about it.
Well, and it's interesting, like this environment's kind of cool because you can go from like wide open spaces to more narrow scenarios like this. Obviously you're not fighting anyone in this particular sequence, but the boundaries are kind of limitless in terms of what
there are. I mean, there are multiple ways to kind of path through this and sort of, you can go a little further out. There's some interesting things awaiting you if you go too far, but I love the underwater idea, and we've, like I say, we've had it before. We've never had combat, and the combat in this level is really interesting.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting is that also like using environmental effects beyond kind of removing the monotony of kind of just traditional shooting combat where you're introducing sonar and whatnot.
Yeah.
But,
and that's actually something we found from one of the Navy SEALs that we talked to. Said literally that if you're underwater and the ship puts its sonar on, turns its sonar on and hits a ping, it's a bad day for them. A very bad day.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mark.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so today we've seen today's range from Xbox One to Wii U to PS4, and we've seen some fantastic games. If you've missed any of the segments, we'll have them on e3.ign.com. Just look for them on our live schedule. Next up, Bungie's Destiny.